Over the last 7 years, the Conjuring franchise has become one of the most prominent and one of the most popular horror franchises happening at the moment. And now over quarantine, I ended up watching all 7 of them, which means it is the perfect time to rank them all. And before I do get started, I just want you to remember that this is my own personal opinion. I also do want to hear your personal opinion on these movies in the comment section down below. So let me know your ranking of the Conjuring movies in the comment section down below. But with all that said, let's go on to number 7. And coming in number 7, I do have The Nun. Now this is the only Conjuring movie I've seen multiple times now. I've seen it twice. When Annabelle Comes Home came out, I was going to watch all of them in preparation. I googled what was the best way to watch the Conjuring movies, and it gave me one in chronological order. The Nun came up first. I watched The Nun, really didn't like it, so I never continued on with them, so I never got to see Annabelle Comes Home in cinema. But it kind of makes sense because this is a really bad movie. I think if I did start with The Conjuring, started like with a release order, I probably would have watched them all and I would have seen Annabelle Comes Home in cinema. But just The Conjuring, or The Nun itself, I just think it's a horrible movie. The characters are all one note. You got the priest. He's a priest. You got the French guy who's all about like he's just a boring generic French guy, and you also got the actual not the villain nun, but you've also got another nun in there who again is a very generic villain. It's all one note. The scares aren't really there. The nun character doesn't really show up a lot, and for someone who I thought in The Conjuring 2 is a horrifying villain, because I actually seen this movie, I didn't think she was a horrifying villain. Then I watched The Conjuring 2, I was like, crap, that is a horrifying, creepy ass villain. And the fact that this movie was able to take what The Conjuring 2 set up brilliantly and just completely destroy it really makes it a bad movie. Now, I did watch this one and the next one on my list with my girlfriend. It's the only one she's seen. We went back and forth and saying I thought this was the worst, she thought the next one was the worst. And I can understand why she thinks this one or the next one on my list is the worst. But honestly, I just think this movie is really boring. All the jump scares, all the scares rely on jump scares, which I don't think jump scares are scary. If something big loud noise pops at you, you're gonna jump. That's just your human reaction. I don't think they're scares. So all the scares in this movie, since they're jump scares, I think they're a massively lazy way of getting a scare of you for a horror movie. So as a horror movie, I think it's horrible. And the way they destroy the nun at the end of this movie, it's disgusting, and it's baffling that they thought that was a good way to end this movie. And then coming in number 6, I do have The Curse of La Llorna. This movie, I think the concept for this and the setup for this is really good. The setup, it's not a great setup, but I still think it's an intriguing setup. And the fact that this villain, the way she plays out, the way the idea and the concept of her, I think is brilliant. I've never heard of it before this movie, but the idea of the fact that this woman killed her kids and now she's been haunting other people, killing their kids, hoping that she gets her own kids back. I just think it's a phenomenal idea. And the wedding dress, the whole idea, the whole look of this villain, I think works really well. I also think the main lead, who I don't know the actress's name, but she played Velma in the live action Scooby-Doo movies. She also plays Hawkeye's wife in the MCU. I like her character. I like the guy who, he's also in Breaking Bad. I think his name was Tuco in season 1 and 2. He kind of plays he's a priest. I like him in this as well. You also have the priest carrying off Annabelle. I like his character. He's barely in it, but I liked him within the first Annabelle movie. But then you got the kids in this movie who are complete idiots. They do stupid things, which I heard going into it. I heard a lot of the movie kind of revolves around these stupid kids. And as I seen one scene in particular, which I'm not going to get into, but she does something ridiculously stupid, and it just bothered me so much. The fact that the whole movie's climactic ending happens because this kid does something so stupid, really ruins it for me. It's just like the other one though, it does have a lot of jump scares, but compared to this one, compared this one to Nun, we get to see the villain of La Llorna a lot in this movie, and she actually is a creepy ass villain. There's some scenes in particular when she comes up screaming at it, which is a jump scare in its own right. But I just think the idea of her is really creepy. I think the storyline for this movie is a lot better, and one of the main reasons I put this ahead of The Nun is the fact that I think she's not a horrifying villain. I think she's creepy. But again, the reason I don't like The Nun is the fact that they just destroyed a great horrifying villain that The Conjuring 2 set up. And coming in number 5, we do have the original Annabelle movie. Now this movie, I think it's very lazy. I think coming right off The Conjuring 2, or coming off the first Conjuring, they were like, okay, Annabelle was kind of popular icon in that movie, and we should do a spin-off, and they kind of rushed this movie because it came out right the year after. But there is some redeemable parts. I really like the family that we're following, especially the mother. I think she's a really good, intriguing character. And then the opening scene before we actually get the Annabelle doll. We get all the scenes with the person who lives next door and the people killing and the murder. I love all that. I think that in the kind of start of this movie is by far the best part. It's incredibly creepy, and it kind of makes the movie just that small bit better, just the opening scene. But the movie, I think it's very lazy, it's very rushed, it's very cheap as well. It feels like they were going for the bare minimum, didn't really want to do anything new. They just wanted to capitalize on the success they have, the Conjuring, and get as much money out of this as they could to do more spin-offs, which they eventually did. But this movie in general, it's not one I'm going to really go back and rewatch anytime soon. If I want to watch an Annabelle movie, or even just see Annabelle, I'm probably going to watch The Conjuring, or just the other two Annabelle movies, which I think are significantly a lot better than this movie, because I just think this movie isn't really that good. And coming in number 4, we do have Annabelle Comes Home, which is the most recent movie on our list. This movie, actually from this point onwards, I actually enjoy all these movies. These are movies I will rewatch again. The other 3 behind this, not really a massive fan of them, but these 4 in general, I actually really like. And the reason why I like this movie a lot more is because we actually get to see the Warrens. The Warrens, these 2 characters, I actually love them, especially in the 2 Conjuring movies. We don't get to see them an awful lot in this movie. The marketing for this movie kind of relies a lot on showing that, okay, we've got the Warrens in this, and it's kind of disappointing, but we do get to see the daughter of the Warrens. You get 2 side characters, well, not side characters. You got 2 teenagers. One is actually one of the women, or one of the main teenage girl from the Jumanji movies. She's in this, which I was really surprised to see her in this, which I actually really liked her in this movie. So those the 3 people together work really well together. I really like their character. You've also got a side character of a boyfriend to the girl from the Jumanji movies. He feels really forced. He feels like a real afterthought because he really isn't prominent in the movie. He kind of just runs around as like getting chased by other demons, which is something really good. We don't just see Annabelle in this movie. We get to see loads of different demons, which kind of makes it a little bit more scarier than just having the doll. Because at the 3rd movie, just following one creepy doll that doesn't move or anything would get a bit tiring. So the fact that they threw other villains in this, or horror icons in this movie, it kind of makes it a little bit better. The fact that we're not just focusing directly on Annabelle. This movie also feels like it's setting up a lot more spin-offs. Apparently, a new spin-off was announced recently from a horror icon, apparently a werewolf, which is the one that was chasing the boyfriend around. He's going to get his own spin-off movie now, which I'm kind of not really that surprised that someone, because as I was watching, I was thinking, this feels like a setup movie. It feels like we're going to get loads of spin-offs from this movie, so I'm not really surprised whatsoever about this movie. The ending to this movie, though, I really like. I like it's a happy ending. It's one of the Conjuring movies in general. The first 2 have happy endings. The other movies, not really, but this movie in general, the ending just really made this movie for me personally. The happy ending just really worked. Coming in at number 3, we do have Annabelle Creation. This movie is good. It's nowhere near the next 2, but it's a good movie, and it's a great movie to follow up the first Annabelle movie. One of the great things, I'm going to jump to the end of the movie, the way the movie ends leading into Annabelle, I think is that movie. The way this movie ends shocked me, and it really made me appreciate the first Annabelle just a small bit more, just the way this movie ended, because it made it so much better, the first Annabelle, just to see how this movie ends. So when you can make a sequel, make the first one even better, usually makes that sequel really good. As well, the horror icon, like Annabelle, I didn't think she was scary in the first Annabelle movie. She's not really a villain in the first Conjuring movie, so the fact that we see her in this movie being a really horrific character really made me actually like the character of Annabelle a lot more. And it's one of the reasons why I actually bought the pop of Annabelle, just how creepy she is within this movie. And just so much to it. Like, they've got the farmhouse element, just making them live on a farm. Just even though it's just a normal farm, it makes it just that much more creepier. You got a scene in this movie when you see people's fingers getting snapped back. Horrible scene to watch, and it kind of made me a little bit sick watching someone's fingers getting snapped from their hands. You also got the main character we're following is a little girl. Usually kid actors in movies, they do get tired after a while. You get bored of them, and they're just not really the best. But this girl in this movie is a great actress. I'm excited to see what she does next, because what she did in this movie, she never got tired to me, and I think she was a really good actress. And not just her, there's also multiple girls throughout this movie, and none of them get tired or annoying throughout this movie whatsoever. That's why, honestly, it's a good movie. It's nowhere near the next movies, but it's certainly better than all the movies below it. And my runner-up is The Conjuring 2. These 2, like the first and the second one, I think are great movies. The reason I put this one behind is just, I think the first one was just a bit scarier, but this movie itself, I really like it. The new horror icons they actually bring in, the Nun and the Crooked Man, which I'm waiting for a Crooked Man pop badly. I really want one of those pops. But I love the story to this. There's so many heartfelt moments because it's a family. I love the family. I think all the kids, even the mother, all work really well, especially the girls being possessed. I think she's a great actress, and I actually kind of want to see more from her, because what she did in this movie, I was actually shocked to see how well she actually played into it. There's so many heartfelt moments, as I said. You got the scene where they're singing Can't Help Falling in Love, which I absolutely loved the song. And I love that scene. I think that scene is just incredible and just played out really well within this movie. But the reason I kind of put this a little bit lower than the first Conjuring movie is the fact that the Warrens don't really tie into this movie until about halfway. I think looked at it. About 40 minutes into the movie is when the Warrens actually come over. So you kind of get to see the Warrens are doing a bit of stuff themselves. They're kind of, but their stories kind of roughly connected. It's not really connected, but they're kind of going about their own life. They get a few hints to the nun, and then we kind of see them move over to it. So the fact that the Warrens aren't really connected to this movie until about halfway through this movie kind of knocks it down a good bit. But once they do get connected, it's really good. It's very intense, this movie. It's very creepy. That's something that the Conjuring movies have done that the other spin-off movies have not been able to do, is make these movies very creepy. Because I think both the Conjuring movies are great horror movies. And you've probably guessed it, coming in at number 1, I do have The Conjuring. The thing that puts this movie ahead for me is not only that it's the only horror movie today that has absolutely scared the crap out of me, that I had to get up and turn the light on because I did not want to watch this movie in the dark. That's how creepy this movie actually was. But one of the great things about it is the characters of the Warrens. Even though they are based on real people, they really do feel like real people. These two actors, I think, play them incredibly well. They feel like an actual married couple. Everything they're going through feels like actual events because it just feels great. I love these two characters. And even when they continue on The Conjuring 2, they're great. Even when they come in, Annabelle comes home, for that small bit they're in, I actually really enjoy them. There's so many creepy scenes. Even the family we're following, even though I wasn't attached to this family as well as I was with The Conjuring 2, I did really like this kind of, the family, the way they play out, all the dynamics, I think is great. I really enjoyed the movie. It's one that if I'm going to rewatch, I'm going to make sure the light is on behind me because it's a creepy ass movie. I'm not going to watch this in the dark. I really do want to watch this again because just talking about it now, I want to talk about The Conjuring 2. And when I want to rewatch The Conjuring. I did a ranking a couple of weeks back of my favorite horror movies. I'm certain it was in my top 5, but I'm even thinking, did I put it in my top 3 because I love this movie. I cannot wait to rewatch it again, and I've only watched it for the first time in January. That's when I started watching these movies. So the fact that this is one of my favorite movies, horror movies of all time, and I only watched it in January, says something about how great the first Conjuring actually is. So that is my ranking of all 7 of the Conjuring movies. Let me know your thoughts on the Conjuring movies in the comments down below. If you want to see more horror rankings from me, just going to leave a link right up here for all 4 of the Insidious movies, and a link right up here for all 4 of the Scream movies. So if you want to see them, there's links right up here. But as always, thanks for watching.